Hi, my name is Archana Pokhrel. I am the CEO and owner at Lenox and Nails. And today I'm here with Anuz and Dipika at the End of the Day podcast.
Archana, thank you so much for your time and thank you so much for making it to our podcast.
My pleasure. I'm very excited to be with you guys. Finally, it worked out.
So I was actually going to ask you, how did you get in touch with Archana? How did you come to know about Archana?
I don't know. How did I get in touch with Archana? Maybe
Through
I found you on LinkedIn or maybe on Instagram.
Instagram,
I think
yeah,
Instagram,
one
yeah.
or the other, right?
Yeah, I
wow.
think
Yeah.
I found,
Yeah.
because I always search for hashtag CEO, hashtag immigrant. I think I happened to, bump into your Instagram.
There you
That's how
go. I'm
Oh,
glad
that's
you
how-
found me.
yeah, that's how I got in touch with her.
Social media, a great way to keep in touch, to build a connection with new people every day, right?
Right.
So the reason Archana is here today in the podcast is to walk us through Archana, your professional growth in the U.S. And right now you are the CEO of Lenox Spa and Nails, right?
That is
So,
correct.
yeah, I'm really, really willing to know what exactly got you into this entrepreneurship.
Well, it's fairly a new company, so it hasn't been around for a very long time. We started in 2018, but it's been doing very well. Everybody's happy. All my customers are happy. It's growing. I'm happy with it. But the whole thing with the business idea came back in 2013, where I still had my full-time job. I was working for Time Warner at that time, and a friend of mine introduced me to somebody who were about to start their spa on their own, and they were looking for investors. Like I could be of their help financially, and then so I saw them from the beginning how well it did, and the potential in the beauty industry, and so I was looking at it firsthand. And then in 2000 and so that got me. I was already working for a business, right? So I kind of was in the realm of business, although I came from science background. That's a different story.
Okay.
That was a transition for me also. But anyway, to answer your question, so it all started back in 2013. I saw it doing well, and then then I wanted to have my own. I thought maybe through this I can get my foot into the door, like in the business realm of my own. Do it on my own terms, because I was kind of tired with my 9-to-5 job. Didn't want to be chained to a table and a chair. Although I my growth happened, although throughout those 10 years, whatever. But I was ready to transition into something else and just have something on my own. And that's when Lenox Spa and Nails was born. It's fairly new.
Yes,
um,
but where did you get the knowledge?
The knowledge, right?
entrepreneurship, Yeah, the entrepreneurial knowledge to lead a business on your own.
So back in 2007, I was about 21 years of age at that time. I was in college.
So
I
now
was
people
studying
know how old
chemistry.
you are.
Oh my god! Yeah, I didn't
Do we need to
realize,
edit
right?
that out?
Congratulations.
That's okay. So I was still in college. I was a chemistry major. I was in Hunter College, right? I was doing other things. I was tutoring because my grades were good. I was doing well in my school. So I was tutoring. I was doing other things, and then a friend of mine was he's actually my best friend's boyfriend at that time. He was already working for Time Warner, and I was always amazed, like, how the hell are you working for such a big company, Fortune 500 company? And I would always say, oh my god, you're doing amazing work. And I was inspired by him. And then there was an opening, and he was like, hey Archana, there is an entry-level opening, would you be interested? And I'm like, I looked up online, so I found it on few search engines, and there were actually few openings. So not to what he suggested, I applied something else, and that's how I got my foot into the door. Basically, I started in sales. That's where that was the first position I was given. Then I transitioned into marketing, and then I took a brief break, and then I went into training. I was training other people. I was working as a corporate trainer for Time Warner in the end. From 2007 up until the end of 2014, that's when we got laid off, and in January January of 2015, I was given a severance package, which wasn't bad because I worked in the company for so long. They gave me about 30,000, and I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, I don't mind, And then I took a break. I went to Nepal. And right after that, I went to Nepal, and
that's where
when
you're from. Yeah.
exactly, yeah,
We
exactly.
haven't said that.
Yeah. Always proud. And I went to Nepal, and then that's when the big earthquake happened. I was there. So right after the first two big earthquake happened, I was there at the time. I came back around like June, July, and then I had to look for another job, right? So I applied for Time Warner again. I got hired out of state, but I decided not to go because I also got hired at Verizon. So the end of 2015, I started working for Verizon for a couple of years, the same position. And then 2017, the January, that's when I started to hear rumors about that department being closing down again. And I had an experience from before. Whenever you hear the rumors, it usually is true, it will eventually happen. So I was prepared, and I thought, because I in the back of my mind, I already thought like, I should do something on my own. And I felt like that was the right time and right moment. So I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm not waiting for them to kick me out, So I was ready. I went to Nepal again because that's my safe cocoon.
And were you scared when you heard the rumor of being, laid off, because you had that bad experience of being laid off at Time Warner?
The thing is, yes, I am. Of course, there is always this darkness of uncertainty, how it's going to play out. Although I had, plans of having my own business, there is always, this uncertainty that's always in the background. But then that's something I learned throughout my whole life here, whatever I lived so far, that there's always going to be some doubts and fears, but you kind of have to push that away, keep it at the bay, and then keep moving forward and just, hold on to your belief, whatever you believe in. So I went to Nepal. I went to India. I went to an ashram in India. I stayed there for 20 days. I came back to Nepal, and then I went to Europe. I took like the whole year break because I felt like, I need to do this before I start my business because I'm not going to have time later on. So
before you took that break, before you did that traveling, you already had that in mind that you would be starting
Yes. I had it throughout, in the beginning, I wanted to, but, I also had to put some savings aside. I had to see if it's going to do well. So, of course, I had been thinking of it for quite some time. So, and then, I knew I was going to get into business and, something that's going to hold me like a tree for quite a while. I'm not going to be able to travel. So, I wanted to do those things. I did it, I went trekking in Nepal, I went to ashrams in India, and then I went to Europe, I had a good time, and then I was ready, I was calmed down, I was fresh, and and then we started looking for space here in New York City. Finally, we settled on a space on the Upper East Side, right across from Bloomingdale's. It's on 62nd and 3rd Avenue, so it's a pretty good location.
For those audience who are not so familiar with New York City, that's in Manhattan.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, in Manhattan.
How difficult it is to start a business, especially in New York City, amidst this cutthroat competition?
Yes, it's not easy. I would say that to you upfront. It's not easy. But hey, who wants it easy, right? I'm up for challenge, I'm up for challenge all the time, even when I first started.
I think I should go for that trekking and for meditation that you went for.
And go to ashram.
You're fully up for challenge.
No, but I like taking challenges, and sometimes I like to challenge myself, although that might be risky, but I don't know. I'm like that. So it's not easy. There's going to be, especially like in the beginning, there's going to be frustrations, of course, because anybody who tells you my business started doing really, really well from the beginning is lying. Let me tell you that, okay? Because it takes time. It's a baby, it's a baby. It takes time to have its feet to be able to walk on its own, right?
Mhm.
So you gotta support, you gotta do the marketing stuff, you gotta give it a couple of months, so yeah, you have to prepare yourself for that. But then at the end of the day, what you believe is gonna lead you to whatever,
Right.
it's gonna manifest, right? So
How did this entrepreneurship help you as a person you are?
it helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Each day I'm like, because I am very straightforward person.
Meaning,
Meaning I just say whatever I feel.
like if I'm bad, you say bad.
Yeah. I don't know how to be diplomatic sometimes. And, I'm a social person, but I'm kind of like, I just say whatever I feel. But now I have so many employees under me, right? And I'm their boss. So
Right.
I have to be careful what I say and whether I should say it or not, because my goal is to, if I'm in a situation, I am the one changing scene.
Right.
I don't have anybody to rely on now. Back in the days, I would talk to whoever is about me. So whatever situation I face, it's me. I have to deal with it, right? So even if I feel I should say something to an employee, I should just take a breath, and then I just hold on to it, and I say it a little later, or maybe put it out there on a table versus saying, hey, you did this. I would just put it on a table and make it a little bit more professional. So so it kind of changed me as a person. There's so many other things. I think it makes you stronger
Do you
overall.
even rehearse before you talk to
Your
your
employees?
staff, your employees, about something that is dissatisfactory about the staff?
If I rehearse,
What kind of question is that?
no, it's funny when you ask me that question. I kind of, I play on my mind. If I'm in a situation, I don't rehearse, right? But say, because you're always in a situation, especially like, you deal with so many things in life in general. I'm saying just based my experience. If I'm in a very difficult situation and I have to face it. There's no other way, I have
Right.
to face it. That's how you make the situation smaller, right? You're not gonna run away, right? There's no choice. So what I do is before I face it, I kind of replay it in my head. Okay, so and so I'm meeting whatever. I have this situation. I have to deal with it. Somehow I need to get out of it. So what I'm gonna do, I do replay in my head. I do. So maybe I kind of connected with what you asked me.
Yes.
I do. Yeah, it helps me. Trust me, it helps. Yeah.
Now we have come to the end of the podcast. If there any advice you want to give out to newly arriving immigrants who want to start their own business like you are doing?
You need to have your tribe, like good people that, build a good tribe, and also that helps you build yourself. I think that is important.
Right.
Negativity, because you might be your own critic, like you might be criticizing yourself, or there might be other people. So just eliminate that. Those are the noises, you don't want that. So yeah, those are the basic things. I don't know, those like life advices you wanted some, but it's all the same, right?
Yeah.
It's all the same, right?
Right.
Life,
And if
business.
anybody wants to reach out to you for any career advice, career guidance, are you comfortable sharing your email address?
So they can email me at info at lenoxspa
Okay.
nyc.com.
And if you happen to email Archana, make sure you write at the end of the day in the subtitle so that Archana knows where these emails are coming from.
I
Yes.
would, definitely.
Thank you so much, Archana.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me here. It was lovely.
Thank you.
And we would also like to thank Better Works for providing us this wonderful space to record this conversation with the amazing entrepreneur Archana. I feel so energized after this conversation.
Me too.
And yeah, make sure you check out our website, podcast at theendoftheday.com.
Yes. And on that note, it's time to say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hey guys, a quick note. If you have a personal story that you think might be helpful to the newly arriving immigrants in the US, please contact us. We would love to feature you in our podcast. Go to our website, podcast@theendoftheday.com, and write to us by going to the feedback section.
And by the way, if you love this podcast, you can support us with a small donation. Your help will enable us to continue producing more episodes. The link to support our podcast is in the description below.